Just Beavin, episode number 18 coming your way right now. We have 1 week left of the regular season before we get into all of the fun. We are going to release, and it has been already released already if you're watching this now, our playoff special episode. Make sure to check that out before you check out this being the regularly scheduled programming. We're going to recap week 13, preview week 14, and give our power rankings. The whole crew with you here today: Andy, Drew, JP. Fellas, we got 1 week left, and I'm telling you right now, we had the playoff show that came out yesterday, this being released on Thursday. Just so much excitement in the league right now. And this past week, as we're going to go through right now, a lot of things have affected how this playoff picture looks.
Yeah, I remember. I think over the last 2 to 3 episodes, we've been talking about how this can be a boring playoff, like finish to this, a boring finish to the season. And the last 2 weeks have really, there's been a lot of upsets, which has caused some derailment in playoff projections, and even looking at the 1 seed possibilities now. I mean, it's a lot different than I thought it was going to be. Just all through the 1 through 7. There's guys who I didn't even know were mathematically still in it that I just
Yeah.
found out are still mathematically in it, and so yeah, it's awesome.
Drew, how are we feeling, my man?
Feeling good. I'm coming down to the wire. It'll be interesting what happens this week. It's rival week, my favorite time of the
Yeah.
year. So
Good
it's gonna be
point
some
to it.
interesting matchups. So gonna be
Didn't even
happier.
didn't even mention rivalry week. When we do the previews, we'll have to remind the listeners who won the initial matchup way back when in week 1, which seems like a whole nother lifetime ago. Drew, you are
Crazy.
one of the 10 win teams. We have another 10 win team as well. We will get into that with our recaps right now. Like we said, a fantastic week. And we're going to start with a matchup that involved two of the three members on this panel, myself and JP. JP being the victor. We're both at 9-4 now. JP, you got the win, so I'll let you start.
Yeah, actually, 177. Good week from the team, but not a good week for the team. McCaffrey goes out now, done for the year, and Jordan Mason gets a phantom injury out of nowhere after playing the whole game. And then I go to my bench and I'm looking at my running back options, and yeah, they speak for themselves. I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna do, but the good thing is I put up, if I put in Kareem Hunt or Mostert or even Vidal, they just got to muster like 6 to 8 because McCaffrey went for 8.7 and I still put up 177. I just need a little bit of push from the guy I put in, so I'm really not losing much sleep over it. And on top of that, McCaffrey really, I mean, the 3 games I got him for. Oh, I guess I got him for 4 games. But the last 2 weeks is what I'm really looking at, is like he really hasn't been, winning me anything. So I'm
Yeah.
not losing sleep over losing him. I do have Henry and Lamar on buys this week, but I mean, that's irrelevant. What I really care about is the tight ends. Shout out to Kelsey and Bowers. I said it on last week's show that Kelsey was going to go off. So in turn, Bowers had to go off because it's just how tight ends work. And actually, Bowers just went off, and Kelsey really didn't go off. Shout out to Brock Bowers. Definitely, I think, has been the best pick in our rookie draft. I mean, he's the tight end 1, and I saw something, I think right now he'd be sitting as the wide receiver 10 or 11 or something
It's
like that.
crazy.
So an absolutely monster season from him. And I just remember us talking about how rookie tight ends really they don't pop off like that. Laporta was an outlier. But Brock Bowers like truly is different. He literally, I was gonna say, they handed him the ball. He got a freaking end around. Like tight ends don't do that. Brock Bowers is a freak of nature, and this was a big win for me for seeding. And so I was happy to get the win.
Yeah, no, well deserved. I'll shake your hand, man. You won it fair and square. This was a good match. I mean, the final I don't think depicts how the match actually went. If it wasn't for David and Joku getting 32 points on Monday Night Football, I wasn't watching the game. Other than our pick'em league, like I didn't all my fantasy matchups. This one and others had been decided. There just wasn't a whole lot of interest there. I get my David and Joku touchdown notifications. He got targeted 17 times, guys. I mean,
That's
that's at least
crazy.
that's something great to take out of it. My top bullet that I have here, my notes is just disappointed. Need to be better. No excuses. It's the first time we've had back-to-back losses all season. So that's something we've had to learn and grow from. I'm not this in this. I say no excuses, and this isn't meant to be an excuse. It certainly doesn't help our case that we have faced the top scorer in back-to-back weeks. That isn't it doesn't help, but Last week, I am a little more okay with last week with Jacob. He broke the scoring record. I didn't even break 140. It was never going to be close. With that Njoku performance, I'm nearing 160, and I'm pretty sure I finished right around the middle of the league in terms of points this past week. I would have beaten a handful of teams, so that's what stings for sure. Um, there was some promise on Thanksgiving though. I mean, Devon Achane at 21, JP was not happy about that at all. He made it known how unhappy he was with Achane. Keenan Allen was great too, 2 touchdowns. Just you look at the major letdowns. I'm shocked that Justin Herbert was a letdown for me. I guess it was a weird matchup with Atlanta, but not even 10 points. That's pretty brutal. I need more from DK Metcalf, and that's a guy who has been very up and down this year. I just need more from him. Tank Dell's super disappointing. Same to be said for Calvin Ridley. And to top it all off, Russell Wilson just went nuclear on my bench. I mean, 25. I'm trying to do math in my head. It would have made it like a 1 or 2 point match if I played Russ over one of my quarterbacks, but I never would have done that. So, yeah, man, just disappointing. And like I said last week, and I've said before, I'm happy that I built the cushion that I did. I'm happy I clinched the playoff spot before I ran through my final 3 week gauntlet last week with Jake, JP, and it ends with Frank here this week. But when we get into the previews, you'll see that Frank's team is not at full strength for a couple of different reasons this week when he faces me. So I'm feel a little okay about that. But no, JP's a good team. He's the highest scoring team in the league for a reason. It sucks, but it's fine. Like, it'll we just got to get to the playoffs, and I'm hoping that all these high scoring weeks from Jake, JP, and others will they're getting them out of the way now, so there's more duds to come in the playoffs. But we'll see, man. It's just not playoff football from our guys, but we'll rebound, we'll bounce back, we'll be all right. That's all I got. Drew, I don't know if you have anything else to pitch in here on the match. You as well, JP.
No, you guys hit on the spot. I mean, I was just gonna touch in. JP's got to be excited that Jetta's showed up this week. He had 17 this week. I think he had 8 receptions for like 97 yards. Yeah, there we go. Uh, but no, that's all I really had. You guys touch on that. Like you said, Yak, I'm a little concerned for DK, and as you touched on that too, Tank Dell. Well, Nico Collins coming back, I think we all know that that's Stroud's guy, and he really only looks to throw to him.
Stroud's
As
also
Nico
been
Collins.
just not good.
That is a good point too. But I was feeling here
so
too
bad.
is you have some players on here that have high risk, high rewards, like Calvin Ridley. You never know when he's gonna pop off. He's gonna maybe have a stinker, but then he's gonna have a 25-point game, which I could see as we talk later. I think he's gonna have a really good week this upcoming week. So, but yeah, you guys sit on the spot. Really good matchup here.
All righty. That
The one
was
last thing I wanted to, sorry, the one last thing I wanted to say was every week I put Red Zone on one TV and then I pick a game and I put that on the like second TV like that I can just watch. It started out as Washington and Tennessee, and that got really ugly. And so then I put the Seattle game on. I think those were at the same times, weren't they?
Yeah.
Regardless,
Yeah.
I watched the Seattle game. Every time I looked over, it was DK Metcalf complaining about being held or something. And I just sat there like laughing to myself, like, this is so ridiculous. Like, I was like, if Andy was watching this, he'd be tweaking out about how embarrassing this is for DK. But that's all I could think about.
I will say too, Marv had a good week too.
he did.
I think
Yeah.
he had 20 points, right? That's
17, yeah.
yeah.
12
So
targets, though, is what I really care about.
yeah, he did drop some passes, but I mean you're gonna have that with rookie, so.
Yeah.
And one of our higher scoring matches this week. And we get your matchup now, Drew. You took on Ty this week, and you and I were twins. We both scored 159. Give you the floor here. Your thoughts? Ty almost put up 100. He has, for his standards, a pretty solid showing against you, but you took care of this pretty easily.
Yeah, I did take care of this pretty easily, but I want to mention Devonta Adams finally showing up. It's crazy. I was still in our group chat. He had 15 points going into the second half, and I was like, oh, maybe he'll end up with 25 or something. Nope, he ended up with 17 points. Only 2 more points after that. 12 receptions though or 12 targets is what you like to see. I don't know what happened in that locker room at halftime. I think they were up 21-7 at half, and then they just came out and forgot how to play football and didn't score the whole second half. So I don't know what happened there. But my other thing I want to talk about is Laporta showing up. Not really showing up, but as we can say, I don't know if he's going to be that target guy this year, but he is going to be that guy in the end zone that might get some touchdowns for us. As you see, 6 yards for 2 touchdowns. Is a pretty crazy stat line, but I mean, he
And
got
to
me
think
17.
that results in 17 points.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. I mean, you can't really complain if if he only gets you 6 yards, but 2 touchdowns. I mean, what can you say? But the other thing I want to point out, I know JP talked about this a little bit on the last show. Worthy, he kind of had a good week this week. Him and Patrick Mahomes, I watched that whole game. As you see, he only had 10 points, but he had 7 targets this week with 5 receptions. If him and Patrick Mahomes get on the same page, I think it would be a different story here. I seen Patrick throw him at least, well, he missed 2 passes, but he threw him at least one pass over that game. What was it? Black Friday was that game on? I
Yep.
think.
I know exactly what player you're thinking of. Was a touchdown. He burned him. He
Yeah,
ran a post. He
yeah.
overthrew him.
I was like, oh my goodness. And then our member Cam Boyer said it's like that every game. I mean, if they can just get on that page for one game, I mean, it'd be awesome. But that's the things they still got to learn with being a first year guy there. But other than that, I don't really got anything. For Ty's side, I got to say it, guys. Is Westbrook Akeen, like, is he going to be is he a trade piece for next year in the offseason? I mean, he's averaging a touchdown in these last 7 games. I know it's kind of funny, but I mean, he put up 21 points against me with 8 targets and 61 yards. And not even a touchdown, 2 touchdowns this
On
week. I
three
mean,
catches. That's
yeah.
the NWI special.
It's
It
freaking
really
crazy.
is.
It's crazy. I wanted to mention that, but he also has to be excited too about Noah Gray doing something over there. I mean, he's the tight end too, but I mean, he's getting targets, he's getting receptions. I mean, 4 receptions for 12 points. I mean, he's got to be happy about that. We're picking up a guy on the waiver wire just to help him succeed for this league. But yeah, that's all I got.
Anything more, JP?
Just wanted to touch on oh, man, what was it? Oh, the Xavier Worthy thing. Yeah, that was what I was going to mention. I saw a stat because I was going to pick up Juju in a redraft league. So I wanted to see, like, so I was doing some research, blah, 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 blah. Worthy was second on the team in snaps at the wide receiver position. He even outsnapped Kelsey this week.
Wow.
Yeah, which was very shocking. So that was the one thing I just wanted to say is that, like, even though he's only get 10.4 points and we mentioned he should have had a touchdown, he's get the snaps. And then Caleb Williams is like actually that guy. He's
He is.
actually insane. So that was definitely worth the first overall pick.
I will say
In both
too,
real life and this
yeah.
league. So
I will say it is crazy that he had a whopping, I think, 17 yards or 25 yards at halftime, and he comes out and throws for 225 yards in one half.
being the goat's not easy
For
work.
3 touchdowns is even more insane, which you love to see. So
Yeah, there you have it. Love it. Love the Caleb Williams chatter. Good stuff, guys. And how about this matchup? I mean, JP has experienced this all too many times this year with how close this was. But have you had any of these that have been closer, JP?
I had the one versus Brady, I think was not this close. The one with Brady was my closest one. I think it was 3 points. So,
Yeah.
or no, when I lost to Zippy week 1, it was decimals.
Yeah, 0.0 or 0.3, the difference here. And it was all because of a George Kittle drop screen on Sunday Night Football. The final kill, 6 and 7. Jake needed this one to lock up his spot in the playoffs. All of a sudden, like JP said in the opener, a lot more scenarios are in play now. I'll just run through some notes I have on Kale. I talked about the insane luck out with the Kittle dud, just a complete dud on Sunday Night Football. Nothing. He had like 2 points, he had one catch for 7 yards out of his 2 targets. Big games from Tua and Najee. I watched a lot of that Pittsburgh game, and Najee Harris looked fantastic. It was fun to watch him, do it from both ways. He was mainly a force, through the air. 6 catches for 54 yards. I feel like we don't really see that from Najee Harris all that much. He's definitely more
Anymore. His rookie year, they threw him the ball a lot.
And back at Bama.
There was one game I remember with Big Ben. He had 22 targets.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's kind of shifted since Ben Roethlisberger. You're right. That's a good point. But still, like, just to see that, I felt like that's vintage Najee Harris, from that performance. Nice getting your receivers. Hill and Chase each dropping 20. In terms of projections, I have no dooms on here in terms of guys who didn't meet their projections, except Aaron Rodgers, but he still got 13. He just undershot his projection a little bit. But for Kale, like we said, we really don't know what the goal is here. He's kind of just hanging out in mediocrity. Drew's voiced his opinions about him being stingy with trading off his guys, all that. We've gotten into that before in past episodes. But JP, I'll let you talk about Jake's team here. I said earlier, he really, really needed this one, and he got fantastic performances from a lot of the guys in his lineup. But you do see at the bottom of the screen here, Jameis Winston almost threw for 500 yards last night on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, on almost 60 pass attempts, which is insanity. But shout out to Stefanski for just letting Winston rip it. The play that's really sticking out to me is, yes, the George Kittle drop screen. That really, but Thanksgiving, first game of the day, Jamison Williams deep across the
Yeah.
middle, wide open, bobbles the ball twice, gets hit and ends up dropping it. They initially ruled it a fumble on the field, and then they went to review and ruled it an incomplete. And then we saw one of the worst challenges in football history come immediately. But my point is that that's the play that really stuck out to me. The Kittle thing, just because it happened, like that night, was like a big deal. But yeah, I mean, Jamison Williams catches that, and Jake's not even sweating Kittle going into that night. Tough for Jake. He's in such a weird spot having to play both the Tampa Bay running backs, because you can't just pick one and depend on one. You don't know which running back's going to go for what each week, and it helps him, but at the same time it's hurting him, because if one of them, like Bucky Irving, gets 25 carries, that leaves Rashad White with 12 total touches. Like that's just never gonna equal itself out. Tough loss for Zip. He's really gonna need to win this week.
Yeah, and he's got yourself, Mr. Commish. Drew, any closing thoughts before we move on to our next matchup?
No, I just think that he's got to be pretty excited with where I know this is a bad loss for him, but Bucky Irving getting him with the I think second to last pick in our draft this year. Uh, he's got to be happy with that, with how he's performing this year.
That's crazy
So,
if he actually lasted
yeah,
that long.
Second pick in the fourth round.
Second pick in the fourth round. I knew he was in the fourth round. My bad. I didn't know where he was, but yeah, I mean, having him boom on that pick. But for Kale's side, the Steelers running duo, not nowhere near Knuckles and Sonic over in Detroit, but it was something this week. So, but yeah, that's all I really have. Hill finally showed up for Kale too, so that's good for him. But yeah, nothing really.
Kale still has a shot at the playoffs in an odd scenario. Make
That's
sure
crazy.
to check out our special episode that released yesterday regarding the playoffs coming up. And from one extremely tight matchup to another, this one separated by less than a point as well. Matt moves to 9-4. Jack drops to 6-7. Beav, I'll give you the floor to start off here. Your thoughts, your initial takeaways from our second close matchup here this week.
So if I'm Jack, I mean, I'm so mad because if you scroll down, if T-Law just stays in the rest of the game, he wins he wins the game. I mean, 0.24 points. Honestly, if T-Law doesn't even throw an interception, he wins. Like, if you want to look at it that way. So I mean, but that hit that he had, I think it was, I wasn't even watching the game, to be honest. I was driving home from school. Was it first quarter? Was it end of the second? I don't even remember.
It was early. That's all I know.
Yeah, I want to say it was maybe beginning of the second quarter.
Okay. Yeah. But anyways, he's got to be happy about the production of Elijah Moore last night. I don't know what to take away from that game last night. Both defenses looked atrocious. Like, I don't even know what to respond to that. I thought Pittsburgh had a good defense, or not Pittsburgh. I don't even know what I'm saying. Denver had a good defense, but I guess not. I thought Cleveland was somewhat decent on defense, but but on Matt's side, he's got to be happy with the production with DJ Moore in the last 3 weeks. As Bears fans, he's looking good. I think I saw today that he had 17 targets or 22 targets. It was a crazy amount of targets he had. I don't remember. But I want to ask you guys this: are we worried about Cade Otton since Mike Evans is back with his production?
I mean, 9 points in a tight end premium for a guy who I don't think is that elite to begin with isn't. I don't know. Cade Otton's one of those where he's not an elite tight end in the league. He's not a top tight end. I mean, I'm not happy with 9 points out of the tight end position, but I also don't think, beggars can't be choosers. And it's something that got sent in the group chat this week. We were talking about we were talking about the downfall of Justin Tucker needs to be studied. And I forgot who texted
Jack Bauer.
Matt's decision of tight end starts. We love Matt, but it's been tough sledding for him this year, just in terms of who to start at the tight end position every week. But no, I'm not worried about Cade Otton. He is who I think we all believe that I mean, he's just, I don't know what you think, JP, just not an elite guy in my opinion. He's pretty solid. You know what to expect from him, but I expect, I don't know, that 9-point number from Cade Otton, unless there's something I'm missing, that's kind of what I expect to see from him. Maybe a little bit more, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, he just gives me like Mike Gesicki vibes. Like people think he's much better than he is when he's really just like an all right tight end. Yeah, bad managerial decision by Matt. I mean, you easily could have played Mike Evans, or you easily could have played Hunter Henry and just benched him because
Yeah.
Mike Evans was coming back. So
But one more thing I wanted to add, but how about Bryce Young, boys? I mean, he's looking real great in these last 3 weeks or so. He looks
yeah,
really good. I mean, this trade for Matt's really not looking that bad anymore. Maybe that's what he needed. Maybe he needed to sit down for a month and watch the Red Rocket play and gain his confidence back. And then, I mean, it seems to be working. So happy for him that he's succeeding. And I don't know what your boys' thoughts on that are.
Helps that
yeah,
they
it
let him
looks
throw the
good.
ball 45 times.
Looks like a first round QB.
Yeah,
At this, I mean, over the last couple of weeks, I mean, it looks good. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I guess in terms of that too, just gotta see it out and let it come to fruition. And we know Bryce Young will be the guy there for quite a while. How about this? A 100-point victory. We've had one this year. I beat Cam Kruk by 120, but 100 points here, guys. Luke against Dade. I guess I'll start. It helps when two of your three guys boom in a big way. Josh Allen, Bijan Robinson, 28, 25. You get really nothing from Brees Hall, but he didn't really need anything from Brees Hall when he had that big of a game. But I think the big takeaway when you look at this is the Jerry Jeudy legacy game. Um, 40 points on Monday Night Football. Like I said, I wasn't watching the game, but I mean, you look by the scoreboard. Clearly, it's pretty insane. Someone's going to go off 235 yards receiving. Uh, we made the joke about Luke in the initial rough looking trade when he did Diggs for Jeudy straight up, but Diggs being out for the year, I still don't think it excuses the trade. Diggs is still the better player, but you're going to get
oh, that
performances like
40
this,
point
guys.
performance shot him up to the wide receiver 14.
that's crazy. That is
13
crazy.
targets,
He
nine
was like
catch.
38th or something. Matt said last night.
God, that
Yeah,
is so great. That is so crazy. I can't even believe that. Like we mentioned earlier, I can't take away what happened last night. Like I don't know if that's a good thing of what we saw last night or bad. I don't know. I don't know.
I
yeah.
don't have anything to add. Just good win for Luke. Another week staying alive. So
Yep,
Same here.
Lad continues to rock. George Pickens is a beast. You know the deal. We're all big Lad McConkey guys on this show. So
big lad McConkey.
yeah. So next matchup we got Cam Boyer against Brady. Brady nearly putting up 70 this week. Boyer goes for 143. Some much needed showing in terms of just getting the victory for Cam and the nature that he did. Bounce back from Mixon, Tracy, Williams. All his running backs were fantastic guys. Quarterback play as well. JP, what do you got for this matchup?
Uh, it's time to start benching Debo. Time to sit Debo down. He's doing absolutely nothing. Get Debo sitting. Figure something out where you can get Garendo playing. You got so many running backs. Me and Cam should have made a trade at the deadline, Boyer. Why didn't you reach out? I have a million wide receivers. Um, he doesn't even have a receiver to play, so you're just gonna have to keep starting Debo. But uh, Debo sucks. I've never liked Debo. I didn't even think Debo was good when he was going off for that literal one season. I still didn't think Debo was that good. Yeah, running backs are good though. Shout out to Brady for showing up.
Drew?
I got nothing either. I just put on my notes too. Debo, concerning. Uh, he's not playing how he used to play, so I don't know if he's like those other Niners players, if he's still hurt and just fighting through it or what's going on. But he just
Oh
does
yeah,
not
I
look the
wanna
same
I
out
wanna
there.
quickly victory lap that while they've been like closeting all these injuries, I
Hmm.
haven't fallen for this, and I've mentioned it every show. It was so obvious McCaffrey was still playing a little banged up, and that he got hurt again. It's been very obvious. And Fred Warner left with injury. Trent Williams is injured now. Bosa hasn't played in a couple of weeks. There's some shady stuff going on over there in San
They're
Fran.
they're
So
definitely
Hey,
doing some Blue Mountain State or whatever that show's called, Varsity Blues. They're definitely doing some
Blue
stuff
Mountain
over
State.
there. Yeah.
yeah, looking good for whatever team plays the Niners next week. Oh wait,
Yeah,
that's our
that
Bears.
might be a great matchup.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean, before we move on, we got one last matchup. The only thing I also had was probably want more from your wide receivers as a whole besides Debo, JSN, and Waddle. You're probably expecting more from Boyer, but can't complain all that much. Our final matchup to recap here from this very impactful Week 13, the Colorado Buffaloes and the mighty Polacks. Frank taking down the other Cam Crook in our league. Guys, I would say the way I phrase this, and I want to get your thoughts. I say another good but not great week for Frank. Didn't crack 140. I mean, I'm not trying to be, obviously we all have, our teams have down weeks. It happens, and of course, I'm the one playing Frank this week, so I'm sure this will get clipped if he beats me. But I don't know. I feel like when we've talked about this before, this isn't Beaver Festive 2 years ago. Like you need 150, like, and that's the number you're looking for, right? And I don't know. I just want to get your thoughts on that. The whole from a general. I mean, there are certain guys on Frank's team that are fantastic. I mean, Trey McBride's a stud, but the thoughts of not even cracking 140 again.
No,
Yeah,
no, go ahead, JP. You're
all
good.
you, man, all you.
No, I agree. I was just gonna touch in. I'm kind of concerned with St. Brown. I know we touched about it a little bit, but like, there's a lot of mouths to feed over there. His production, he's not doing what he did last year. He's not getting 20 points comfortable anymore. Same of Gibbs. Like, you don't know who's gonna get that ball on the goal line. Is it gonna be Monty or is it gonna be Gibbs? Like, you just never know who's gonna get it. He just got a lot of players that you just don't know what's going to happen. Like there's going to be a high reward sometimes, but then you're going to see where he could have a lower reward for the next guy. So that's all I got there. Where we got to add JP.
I was just gonna say that his team's becoming touchdown dependent, which you never ever want to see. But I think that's where it's trending right now. Drake London's a stud though, like genuinely a stud. I remember 2 years ago I tried to get Frank to give up Drake London. We were close to a deal actually involving Darnell Mooney. Funny enough, when Mooney was still had like this weird, you weren't sure if he was good because he was on the Bears kind of value. But my one thing I do want to mention is could be steal of the league this year. Get Pat Fryermuth for a third and a fourth. He's been phenomenal as like a flex tight end almost this year.
Yeah.
So shout out to Cam for getting him. Since Russ has taken over, like he's getting targets, and that's what you want to see. And Russ has never really been a big tight end guy. If you go back to the Seattle days, I mean, they really didn't. They had Jimmy Graham there, but I mean, he kind of fell off a cliff when he ended up in Seattle. So yeah, shout out to Cam picking up the Muth, and then CeeDee Lamb if he doesn't play this week. Cam versus Brady could be matchup of the week, quite frankly.
I do want to touch in real quick. Has Dade made one good trade this whole off season or in the season?
Yeah. He got 2 firsts, I think, for Brandon Ayuk.
Did he? I don't remember
I would
that.
say his trade with me and Cole Kmet looks pretty good right now too, just based on how bad Tank
fair.
has been. So, nonetheless, those are our recaps for Week 13. Our previews for Week 14 and power rankings are coming your way right now. You're on the Just Beavin podcast. We head to the previews, the final week of the regular season. JP, a record update for all of the listeners, all the viewers, what we did last week and where we are at cumulatively on the season.
Yeah, so last week, me and Beav went 6-1. Only game we missed was picking Zippy over Kale. Andy, you went 5-2. You also missed the Zippy game, and then you took yourself. Yes. So we have total records. Andy, you're 68-23. Drew, you're 69-22, and I am 70-21.
All right. We need some playoff magic and we need some rivalry week miracles, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how I pick it, but we are getting down to the nitty gritty. As Drew mentioned at the top of the show, it is rivalry week. So we have matchups based on who we played in the opening week. What do you got, B?
No, I was gonna say there's some really good matchups, some sleeper matchups. I really like this week a lot. So
yeah, I don't remember who. I'm not going to remember certain matchups of who won in the opening week, but I do know you remember all of them. Do you have them all written down?
No, I just remember them.
Oh wow, look at that! The commissioner right on the 8 ball per usual. And we'll start with your matchup, JP. You got Jake this week again. Now remind me, did you win week 1?
I did not.
Oh, that was super close. We just talked about it.
Yeah.
We're all over the place right now. Okay, so your thoughts right now, the projections are a little skewed. You have to play Vidal at the running back spot, 125. I remember I looked at last week, you were at 166 against me, and I know you're missing some other guys too, so just take me through your mindset here this week.
Yeah, unfortunately, Daniel Jones is a Viking now, and I traded Will Levis for Danny Jones, which, I mean, they'll both be out of the league in 4 years, so it won't really matter. But I only have one quarterback to play, so I'm starting Noah Fant. Shout out to Noah Fant in my
Let's go, Noah.
in my super flex because I have so many. I really don't want to play Cedric Tillman against Joey Porter. It's just not something I want to do. But yeah, I got to start Vidal and Mostert because my 49er running backs are done for the year. or at least McCaffrey is. I don't know about Jordan Mason, but and then Henry and Lamar on bye week, so I got to start Mostert. I mean, it's just whatever. I'm sorry to anyone who's banking on me to beat Jake for a playoff spot. It's just the odds are not looking in your favor. Yeah, I'm probably gonna lose. I'm gonna pick myself to win. Obviously, I've picked myself every week, but I'm not very optimistic about this week. So I'm gonna need another Brock Bowers miracle week. And Kelsey's playing the Chargers, and he always goes off against the Chargers, so that'd be cool. But yeah, I probably not gonna win this week, but whatever.
Yeah. Crazier things have happened this season. I'm going to take Jake partially because I need to get the games back in our little competition we're doing here, but also, like JP said, just missing some guys due to bye weeks and injuries. I love that Jameis Winston's a QB1 in this league in the final week of the regular season. I think that's awesome as well. I love Jake's running backs, Barkley, Irving, both were fantastic last week. And I love Saquon against Carolina. I think he can absolutely feast after seeing what Bucky Irving did to them last week. And we'll see with Irving against the Raiders as well. That's a team that's just in all sorts of dismay right now and a whole bunch of trouble. So just off the rip, I like his running back matchups. And it's more or less availability this week. And Jake's guys are just more available and ready to roll. So I'm siding with him, Drew.
No, yeah, like you said, yeah, I could see Bark having 40 plus this week, going up to that Carolina D. I like Jake's receiver play this week. I think T. Higgins could have a really good week. I was going to mention too, JP, this could be in your favor. I personally don't think Bucky Irving's going to play. They're playing Vegas. Why even send him out there when you have Rashad White if he's going to be that hurt? I don't know if you guys saw that clip on Twitter of him like barely being able to walk after the game. Uh, but I don't think he's going to play. If I was a coach, if I'm Todd Bowles, I'm not playing him. But that's just me. I'm not the coach for that team, so uh, but yeah, I'm still gonna take Jake here. But if Bucky Irving doesn't play, I think it could be a little closer matchup. But that's all I got for you.
Would love to see Beaver be the coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That would be a highlight for sure. So the panel for this matchup, JP obviously stick with himself. Drew and I going with Mr. Zaparo here in rivalry week. Got Jake going 2-0 against JP this season, if all holds true. How about this one right here? Myself against Frank. I beat Frank in week 1. It was 122-111. I'm weird like that. I remember some of the scores from my games this year. Kind of a similar situation if you look at Frank's team, just based on what I've been able to gather. He's down a few guys. I believe he has to start MVS this week and DeMarcus Robinson. Could be wrong, but I know that's certainly the case this week is that he's dealing with some guys that, just aren't available. He's got bye weeks he's got to handle and all those things. And for my guys, we get, hopefully just trying to stay healthy, remain healthy for the playoffs, right? I'm infamously known as a guy, but I guess this year it hasn't been as bad other than the beginning of the season where my guys get hurt and they get hurt at the least opportune times. But knock on wood, I got some right here, just knocking on my desk. We're pretty healthy right now. That's how I want this team to stay, obviously, for the playoffs. Looking for some guys to bounce back from last week, like we talked about in the recaps. Still projected over 150. So I'm always going to pick myself in the regular season. It's a hint. Depends on who I get in the postseason. We'll see if I change up my picks. But all 14 times in the regular season, I will be picking myself. And I got myself beating Frank not once, but twice this year.
Yeah, I like what you said, Yak. I'm gonna take you too, just because if you win, I'm guaranteed that 1 seed. So I'm kind of banking on that just for my sake, because in the direction my team's playing like right now, if I don't get that 1 seed, I'm pretty much probably gonna lose first round of playoffs. Nothing against myself, but there's a lot more better teams out there in this league right now than myself. But like I was saying, your thing, I've got one question about your matchup. Is DK going to play this week? I don't know. That's what concerns me. But the other thing on Frank's side is I don't like St. Brown and Gibbs all going on Thursday. That's my opinion on Thursday night games. I hate them. It's short time rest. And you know what the weird fact is about this game is that the Lions are playing back-to-back Thursday games. I don't know if we've ever had that before in a long time.
So are the Packers.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that too. That's crazy. Yeah. I thought that was crazy when I was looking at this earlier, but yeah. That's really all I got, but I'm gonna lean towards Yak here. But yeah.
Does he have? So he's uh obviously looking at it, JP. I believe it's just Demarcus Robinson that he's got in his lineup. I know Frank and I were texting because I probably will have to play MVS and D Rob. So who knows? I guess if Kincaid is healthy and is going to
Yeah, I think
play,
he's banking on Kincaid not
yeah.
playing.
Yeah.
But if not, it will be MVS.
I do want to mention too, I think this is going to be a really big boom week for Ridley this week. I think you could
I'm
see him having 20 points this week.
hoping so. That would be nice to see, considering I gave you a second round pick for him, and he has been kind of Gabe Davis-esque, dare I say, this year in terms of his highs are very high, but his lows are very low. JP, where are you going here with this matchup?
Yeah, I'm taking you. Frank's just getting hit by bye weeks, and like Drew said, I also don't really like Thursday night games. And I think the game will be much different this time around. I'm actually leaning Green Bay to get a win here in enemy territory. And yeah, I just think your team is a well-oiled machine still. I mean, even in a loss, you scored 159 points. So I'm still liking where your team's at. I'm taking you to win.
All right, across the board there as well. Not much changing from what we had in the opening in terms of guys sticking with who they're at. You mentioned it in the recaps, JP. How about this matchup right here? Brady and Cam. Cam obviously not having his lineup fully in yet. We are recording this on a
Just
Tuesday.
got one other guy to play. He can literally
Oh,
only
that's
put in
it.
Ernest Johnson.
Oh boy. All right. Well, then his lineup is mostly set. Guys, I got Brady winning here. I got Brady getting his third win of the season. How many losses in a row is he at now? I have to check the
He hasn't won
standings.
since he beat. Oh no, he won another one somewhere. I played him week.
He
He's
beat
lost
Dade, I
7 in a
think.
row, and Cam
Yeah,
has
he
lost
beat
9 in a
Dade.
row.
Yeah, okay.
So someone gets to end their losing streak here. I don't think either team wants to end their losing streak.
I don't
So,
either.
But
so
I'm
will
I'm
this,
I'm taking Brady.
No, wouldn't do anything, Drew.
so
Wouldn't do
drafts,
anything. Wouldn't do anything.
really, even that he wins?
Wouldn't do anything. If
Really?
who wins, Brady?
Yeah, Brady wins. Does Cam move up in the spot in the draft or no?
No, they're both
Because they,
1-1, and Brady has almost 200 points less.
well, I didn't know because Brady beat him head to head, so I didn't know if that affected
Well,
anything.
Cam beat him head to head.
Oh, I forgot. This rival week's screwing me up. That's on me. That's on me. Okay, yeah, makes sense
I have
then.
nothing.
Okay.
I don't have anything matchup wise. I'm just taking Brady to win. I'm not breaking
Well,
down
He's
a
got more
guy with.
guys in the lineup.
uh,
Yeah, that's why he's gonna
well,
win.
I just have here Battle of the Turds. It's the Battle of the Turds week for Cam and Brady. That's the I see this match at Battle of the Turds. But I'm
So if
taking Brady here.
so we have Cam and Brady each finishing they're two expansion teams. So first year in the league, we have Cam and Brady each finishing with 3 wins and 11 losses in their inaugural season in Beaver Fest. Next rivalry matchup. Don't think we're gonna have much to say here. How about Day though? Hey, Day's projected 84 points. That's not too bad, but I think we're all gonna lean Cam Boyer. Cam, quiet 10-win season. Despite we know we've been moving him all over the place in the power rankings, but he'll come out of this with 10 wins. And guys, Dade will be the first team in the history of this league to not win a game in a season. JP, I know I know you got some thoughts. So I'll let you start.
Yeah, it's just embarrassing. I mean, it's just flat out embarrassing. I mean, you're a man. You got to go out every day knowing you didn't win a single game in your fantasy football league. I don't even care if you were intentionally taking. You couldn't even sneak out one win.
You guys each
Like,
won a couple games last year.
that's what I'm saying. We won 4, and I got
Yeah.
the second overall pick. Like, what are we doing? This is a low moment for the league. We're gonna have 4 teams in the top 4 with 4 wins or less. I want everyone to reflect on this. This is a really low moment for the league, and Dade, you probably should do some self reflection. I really hope you don't enjoy Fat Panda.
And what's even worse is I don't even with this after this draft, I don't think his team's gonna get that much better.
Well, it'll
Like,
be funny next year when he's trying to win and then he only wins 2 games. I think that'll be more embarrassing
Yeah.
than
and it's even more
not trying
funny
to win.
'cause-
And
So you think he'll be back-to-back Panda?
yeah,
well, what's
Wow.
even more funny, Yak, is he doesn't even have his first round pick for next year.
Kruk could back to back, or Kruk could, I mean, Panda next year too. Those have got to be the
Two good candidates.
yeah,
Two really good candidates.
the
I was-
odds-on
I-
favorites to
yeah.
be the.
I was gonna maybe say Kale if he implodes.
No.
I mean, but based on right now, I can't. You can't bet on a man selling. So
Even if he does
I'd-
implode, I don't know if his implosion would result worse
I mean, he's still gonna have
roster
Jamar Chase.
construction than what we have here. Yeah, Jamar
he's
Chase single-handedly has scored more points in a week than a lineup that one of our in the basement teams have put up this year. So, yeah,
Hey, I
here you
mean,
have it. Disappointing commissioner. Drew, you got anything else before we move on?
no, I was just gonna say Dave's got some high expectations to beat me from last year from Fat Panda. I did some crazy stuff on there, so I'm not happy what I did, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. At least I got some followers for the fan page. That's what I'll
Yep.
say.
Beaver.fest on Instagram. When the time comes, when we get closer at the end of the season, probably more in March.
Play
we'll
the
have some
sound.
sort
Play
of
the
announcement.
sound.
Meow, 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 meow. Is that the sound?
Matchup of the week.
Matchup of the week.
Matchup
There we go.
of the
I was
week.
hoping we were on the same page. I'm like, I hope I just didn't make myself look stupid for no reason. There we go. Matchup of the week, and it's a good one. Matt, the third expansion team, at least we've talked about the other two in the previews. We have not mentioned him yet. A chance for an expansion team to win 10 games, guys. And it's right there for the taking for Matt. However, this is a big game for Luke as well at 7-6. We obviously talked about it in our playoff talks earlier. Make sure to go check out that episode from yesterday. But yeah, this is going to be a fun one, guys. I'm looking forward to this. It was Luke that won in week 1, correct?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is when Matt didn't play likely.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Of course, man. That is forever ago. That's crazy.
Forever ago.
But JP, I'll let you start here. Who do you got winning this match?
In the war on Route 4, I actually was, I've gone back and forth on this pick all day. Every time I look, I have a new opinion. But ultimately, what's going to be the deciding factor for me is I just don't like a lot of Matt's matchups. Jennings going up against the Bears, not a big fan of it. Myers against the Tampa Bay defense, not a big fan of it. I'm gonna put my faith in Luke here. I feel like I've rarely ever picked Luke to win this year, and I like a lot of his matchups. So you know what, Luke reward. Yeah, see, he doesn't even have a tight end in the slot, and he's projected. Does he have a tight end to play? Hold on, I should probably check on that.
It doesn't matter. He'll just throw Hawk in, and he'll probably start
Bellinger.
Slayton or Thielen.
Yeah, right. He's gonna start Thielen. Yeah, give me Luke. I'm taking Luke to win this. Sweeps the war on Route 4.
Drew, what do you got?
JP hit on the money. I mean, I was gonna hopefully. I'm gonna say same as JP. I love Luke's matchups this week, and as JP touched on, I don't like Matt's matchups this week. I think it's gonna be a big game for Pollard, Hawk, and Brees this week. I was thinking you're gonna see them explode. But yeah, JP touched on it. I got Luke this week, and I think he's gonna go over his projection.
I'm gonna go with Matt. I need the points back. I need the picks back in our showdown here. And we've also said all year that Matt's one of, if not the hottest team in the league over the last 5-6 weeks. This is his chance to really prove that claim. Regardless of who he has in and out, he's got a lot of his main guys ready to roll. And I think it'd be cool to see an expansion team win 10 games. Obviously, I know it's something that wasn't originally in the vision when this came to fruition last summer of getting the expansion rolling. And also, I think it'd be fitting for him to get some revenge on rivalry week for not playing likely, like JP said back in week 1, which is crazy. So I need to go against my peers here for the sake of picks, but I also do truly believe that it's Matt's time to win this rivalry matchup and to get 10 wins in his first season as a member of the league. So that's where I'll side on my pick for that matchup. And another interesting tilt here. Jack and Ty, nearly 50-50. Does Jack have a quarterback to play?
It's all banks on T-Law. If T-Law plays, he does. If T-Law doesn't, he does not.
Oh no. Man, that makes my pick. I have Jack penciled in right now. Jack was my pick, but I don't know. I got Khalil Herbert playing for Ty. Who else does Ty have starting this week? Let's see. He's got Spears. He's got the NWI game. Is that David Moore?
Yeah, I think David Moore will hit the bench. It all depends. I don't know if Ty's going to try and win. Ty, if you're watching this, I really hope you try and win.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'm taking Ty, though. I'm taking Ty. So if that makes you want to keep your Jack pick, I'm taking Ty, if that helps you with anything.
I'm worried about NWI. I think NWI is going to have another monster game. And he might be the difference. I don't know. Drew, where are you thinking here, man?
I was going to ask because I'm in the same boat as both of you.
Gerald Everett starting at the tight end?
That's what I'm saying. Does Ty have? There's no way. There's no way T-Law plays this week. There's no. If they suspended that guy, I'm not even going to pronounce his name because I'm not going to be able to. On the Texans that killed T-Law. There's no way in heck that guy plays this week. Correct? He's got a concussion
He's
at least.
outside here.
Yeah, sure. If you want to pronounce it that way, sure. If that's how you say it, sure. But there's no way, right? He plays this week. T-Law plays this week. There's no
I don't
way.
think he's going to.
He should.
There's no way he plays this week. And back to what JP says, I I mean, how can you not cheer for this guy, Westbrook Akeen? I mean, he's had 7 touchdowns the last 7
Indiana
weeks.
legend.
Yeah.
I mean, and then Tyler Conklin, I can't believe I'm saying this. He's starting 3 tight ends. But here's the other thing. Has he used his second warning yet?
It doesn't matter. After week 11, you lose a second.
No, that's what I'm saying. So okay, so like that's what I'm saying. Like, has he already lost a second though? Is what I'm saying.
You're asking who?
I'm asking, has Ty lost a second round pick yet?
No, the only person who has is Jack. The first 2 weeks of the season.
For the same guy.
So he's starting Darnold this week. So here's my other question. So if he wins this week, does the draft order change, or does he still stay at 5?
Well, he's 4 currently, and he would stay at 4.
He'd stay at 4 still.
I'm taking Ty. I'm breaking my silence. It's going to be NWI. NWI, and plus, when I looked over and saw that Jack has to start Gerald Everett at his tight end position. Gerald Everett's not even going to log more than 10 snaps.
Okay, but
he'll be lucky to log 10 snaps.
Here's the thing. I can't do it. I can't do it because if I got to take Ty, because if T-Law doesn't play, I can't trust him winning without a quarterback. Granted, he does. I did the breakdown. Jack on the side. If T-Law doesn't play, he has 7 of the 3 better players than Ty. If you go through player for player and position, the only players that Ty has a better player at is that he has the overhead on Gerald Everett, which is Noah Gray.
I think you're getting I think you put too much time into this. The difference is Ty has the best player in this game. It's Nick Westbrook-Akine. I mean, it doesn't. Mike Evans, I don't care who Jack is playing. Nick Westbrook-Akine is on the field. Ty is winning this week. That's the end of the story.
I'm just gonna chalk it up. I'm just taking Ty to be safe. I'm taking Ty this week. I'm taking Ty. I'm sorry for taking too long. I'm putting too much thought.
No, I mean it's just when Nick Westbrook-Akine is out there, it's like Michael Jordan. I mean, why are we even picking against him? For what reason?
Yeah,
it's
NWI.
If we redid the dynasty draft right now, he's the unanimous 101. I mean, there's just no debate to it. So, shout out to Ty and Nick Westbrook-Akine. He's been a ride or die for NWI too. Since I've met Ty, he has been a ride or die for NWI. Always said he was a solid receiver. So, shout out to Ty.
All right. After a long, heated debate over a matchup I didn't think we'd spend more than 2 minutes on. Drew, we finally end with yours. We'll let you start here as well. You get Kale again for a second time.
Yeah, I'm gonna take myself. I've only took not myself one time, and I think it was against Frank
Boyer.
Nope, it was against Boyer. It was. That was right. But one matchup I'm really hoping for the bust out this week is I'm really hoping Amari Cooper figures it out. I'm gonna pat him on the back for last week. That game last week was miserable, snowy, crappy, whatever you want to call that. But since he's been at Buffalo, I don't know if he scored over 10 points, maybe one time. But I'm also hoping Devontae Smith plays this week because I really think this matchup's going to be closer than what people think. If Tyreek and Jamar play how they played last week, it's going to be a lot closer than what it should be. And, and that's the thing with another player on my team, too. And you guys will laugh at this when I say it. I don't know what to expect anymore from Sam Laporta. Like he showed last week, yeah, he got 2 touchdowns, but he had 6 yards. So, I mean, yeah, the tight end premium with 3 catches, that's 175 still, but that's not going to be enough. I mean, I need him to at least get me his projection. I need him to get me 15 points to succeed in this league. So, this is where I'm at right now. If I win, I'm probably going to lock in as the 1 seed, but I don't think so. I'm a little concerned here. I am a little concerned.
Win, I'm saying if you win, you are the 1 seed.
Well, yeah, if I win, I think I do. But I'm a little concerned with this matchup this week. So I'll leave it to you guys.
I'll just take you, Drew. I got nothing else.
Yep. Likewise.
Really? Really? That's all you got?
Yeah.
You covered it all, dude.
Yeah. You
I just
touched
like
on
your
the guys I was going to say.
I like your team better too. Kale is just too inconsistent for me. You saw him go for 155 last week. He's also gone south of 110 plenty of times this year. I just trust your team more. So I'll
I
take
don't
you.
know. Ray McLeod's kind of scaring me.
You'll be okay. I promise you, you'll be fine. Yeah, there you have it. Those are our picks for this week. We went a little different both sides, but nonetheless, we just got some power rankings to get to now, and we will send you folks on your way and get you into our final weekend of the fantasy football regular season here in this 2024 campaign. And this is actually a blind review. We did not we did not show each other our rankings. Oh my gosh, and it shows. You guys are a lot higher on me than I am for sure. JP, this is your operation though. I'll let you take over here.
Yeah, I'm honored to be back on top, Drew. I'm not sure what methamphetamine you were smoking when you put Frank at 1. I really don't understand what he did this past week, scoring 137, and we're putting him at 1. There's actually three other teams. I mean, I would have put at 1 before I put Frankie there. So that's hysterical. But thank you, Andy, for recognizing game. Game recognizes game, so I appreciate that. Yeah, so I mean, then we move on. We got Frank at 2. Andy, you put him at 2. I put him at 3. I did my favorite thing to say when we do power ranking is I've been showing Matt love, and I'm going to continue to show Matt love. He's been unbelievable. So I gave Matt the 2 spot. Drew, you gave Matt the 4 spot. Is there any particular reason you had him below both Frankie and Andy? Well, I mean, we know why you have below Frankie. You have Frankie at 1, but
No, I was just giving Yak the upper hand because he's went up against two of the more powerful teams in this league. So I mean, I still think he deserves to be top three. But yeah, that's really all I got.
and then Andy immediately yourself at 6. I mean, what the hell?
This is a frustrating. It was a frustrating ranking. This was also before David Njoku went nuclear on Monday Night Football, but I kept it. I want to send a message to my guys. I know some of them tune into the podcast, some of them watch. I want to send a message here this week that we're just not playing the brand of football that we should be playing. I'm not going to give any slack for who we play against. Yeah, I mean, I probably shouldn't rank myself at 6, but I was frustrated and yeah, just mad, disappointed at. I mean, like I said, there's nothing I can be totally upset about with the two performances I've gone against the last 2 weeks, but yeah, this is more of a spite ranking. I didn't. I was meaning to ask you guys before we recorded where you had me because I would have probably put myself up at least one spot. But I mean, I don't know if I really deserve to be in the top 3 right now, and I'll at least stay with that. I don't think if I would have re-ranked myself with a more cool head, I'd probably put myself at 4 at the highest. It's just how it's been going as of late. I still got a bad taste in my mouth from going under 140 a couple of weeks ago. And like I said, if Njoku didn't go off last night, I would have finished under 150, probably maybe under 140. It was just, I don't know. It was one performance. Yeah, probably should be at 6. I'll always remember the week where I was unanimously the number 1 team. I remember when that was put on the pod to him. Like, I'll always remember this. This will be a high point for me this season. Where was that at? Yep, that was literally 2 weeks ago. I moved myself down 5 spots in the matter of 2 weeks. I promise you that won't be the same entering the playoffs. But yeah, that was more of a frustration thing. So that's really all I got to say there. But the one thing I will say before I kick it back to you, JP, outside of a couple little spots up top, I love all the yellow. Once we hit
Yeah.
7, we're pretty much for the most part we're all in sync with Drew at 5, and then once we hit the 9 spot, I'm not saying we're packing it in for the year, guys, but I just feel like we're all pretty much on the same page now in terms of where we have everyone ranked.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. The last thing I even really had to say was I just found it, uh, heartwarming that we all agreed that Drew was the 5th best team in the league. We didn't go crazy and put him top 3, but when we didn't like freak out and put him at like 7, we just
You didn't pull a
5.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, and then the last thing I really want to say is just the discrepancy on Zippy. I was felt so weird doing 1 through 8 this week. Just felt weird. I wasn't sure where to put like Luke, Zippy, Drew, and Boyer. I really had no idea what to do with any of them. My top 4 was so easy, and then 5 through 8, I was like, I have no idea. I don't think I've changed 9 through 14 in the last 5 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, could be even 7 weeks.
I changed
Um,
Jack and Kale finally, but that was my only. Other than that, yeah, I'm the same boat.
Yeah, and so then I was like, yeah, just 5 through 8. I was like, you guys are all the same. It's like we have you ever see those memes where it's like Jameis Winston is the Tom Brady of Joe Flacco's and like shit
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
That's I was just that's just what was running through my head. I was like, you guys are the same teams. I don't know what to do with you. But I think it's funny that we have Jake at 6 and Jack all the way down at 10. There's a chance Jake does make the playoffs and Jack does. So.
Good times. Good times. Drew, you got anything else to add before we sign off?
Nope, that's it. Just gotta say, Santa Clara is covering, and they're winning 69-67. So go Santa Clara. That's all I got.
Beef sprinkling in some college hoops. It's the end of our show here this evening. 2 episodes for the people here this week. This is the second one. This is our traditional episode. Like I keep mentioning, if you haven't checked out our playoff special yet, that released yesterday. Make sure to go do that after you wrap this up here. But thanks so much for tuning in. Next week at this time, we will be previewing week 1 of the playoffs. It feels so good to say. Once again, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good things, and we'll catch you next time here on the Just Beavin podcast.